Alrighty guys, so today I decided let's foam roll, let's stretch, okay? I know I've been feeling a lot tighter because being inside a lot of the day and not being on my normal schedule of teaching 5+ classes a day and seeing personal training clients, I'm definitely not moving as much. So even if I'm getting my 10,000 steps at least a day, when I was working, I was probably getting close to 20,000. I was stretching on a more regular basis because I was working out so much. Now that my working out has scaled back just because of our current situation, I definitely feel a lot tighter, okay? Especially too if your sleep schedule has been weird. I don't know for you guys. I'm used to getting up at like 5 o'clock in the morning. I get up at like 10 now. So it's like, what is happening? So I'm gonna go over some foam rolling. If you don't have a foam roller, I really suggest getting one, or you can do a lot of these things with like a lacrosse ball or tennis ball. You can kind of get things into the spots. So I'm just gonna kind of teach us how to foam roll the entire body. Yay! So first and foremost, you wanna still be warm before you foam roll or before you stretch. So I'm gonna just get us a little warmed up. Let me put this over here. So just a typical thing, just like our inchworms when we start a normal warm up. So we're gonna come down, we're gonna take our time today. So you know, this might be a good thing. Maybe if you're feeling really good today and you wanna do a workout, do one of the other videos, go onto one of the live workouts that we have now through USC, and then do this as a recovery day, maybe on the weekend. But I wanted to make you guys a workout since I'm not filming on the weekends right now, to give you guys this option. So again, we're just going through our inchworms. We've done these a couple videos. So I'm just walking my body out, dropping it down, getting a nice stretch into kind of that up dog. So just kind of lay myself down. It doesn't have to be a push-up or anything special. Get into that down dog. Really, really press into those hamstrings. Let's do one more. We're going to that down dog position. Bring it down. Big stretch up. Pushing that butt back. And rolling it on up. Really nice. Then I'm going to have my legs nice and wide. Okay, keeping that core nice and tight as always. I'm going to come down side to side. Just opening up my hip flexors. Getting a nice stretch into that groin. Just going side to side. Nothing to count. I'm just kind of going how my body feels, what I feel like I need before I get into that foam rolling. So again, we're just kind of getting the muscles a little bit warmed up. We'll get our arms, we'll get our legs, we'll get total body just before we get down and kind of get into that nitty gritty. Now we're going to squeeze our legs together, okay? We're gonna go into those chair squats. So we're gonna come down, pulse for 2, then come up and reach towards our toe for a little pulse, okay? So little squeeze leg squat, little reach to the toes. From the other side, looks like this. Little squeeze, little reach. So I'm getting nice little engagement there and then reaching towards those toes. Let's do 2 more here. Last one. Really nice, guys. Okay, then we're gonna go into bootstraps. So bootstraps, I'm going to come down into my squat with my hand over my feet. I'm gonna sit down and open up my groin here. So chest is nice and tall, okay? Now if you can't get all the way down to your feet, maybe you come here, right? Maybe you're up a little higher, but I still want you pressing into that groin. Then we're gonna come up, and we're gonna stretch into those hamstrings again. So again, maybe you're not touching your toes, maybe you're up here, A-okay, all right? So again, from the side, I'm coming down to my bootstraps. I'm here, notice that I'm trying to keep my back straight, so I'm not rounding over, okay? I'm not hyperextending, I'm just kind of keeping a nice neutral spine. And then I come up, again, keeping my core nice and tight, as always. Let's do one more of these. Beautiful. Roll it on up. All right, I'm gonna just roll my shoulders back. Again, we're just warming up those joints before we get into that foam roll. And then, now again, just to let you know, this workout, I will probably still sweat. You notice I'm just kind of going back and forth with my shoulders, whatever you need. But this workout, it's still gonna be a workout, right? You still might sweat, I probably will, because I'm gonna have some very painful spots, even though I haven't been lifting really heavy these last couple weeks, which I normally do. I'm still gonna have tight quads, tight calves, especially because I've been running more. So let's go and see how this all works, okay? So I love to kind of start a little bit with my feet. So there's two ways you can do it. You can kind of go head down or toe up. Either is nice. I like this way just in the sense of just kind of starting from standing. So what I like to do is I get a little bouncy and I kind of get my foot on there, give myself just a nice little roll. I personally like to do this with my rumble roller, which has really nice little spikes on it. This also is really nice if you have a tennis ball, because then it's a much sharper. So all I'm doing is just kind of getting my foot on the foam roller and allowing myself, I have a nice little balance behind me, just kind of rolling it across my foot. Now again, you're going to get more from a lacrosse ball. But on this one, I'm just kind of finding if I find a spot or it's really nice, I'll show you from the side here, really nice to get a nice calf stretch here before we foam roll our calves. So if I'll show you this foot. If I come up, I'm balancing, right? If I kind of slide that foot down, my other foot's on the roller. If I slide my foot down, I'm getting a really nice calf stretch here. So again, I'm just kind of calmly do whatever you feel need. I'm going to kind of coach through this in the sense of things that I like to do that I find really help open me up. But again, sometimes we just need a video that tells us we are foam rolling right now for this length of time and we are stretching. So go at your own pace, do what you feel you need. I'm going to do one more little calf stretch here with that foot, getting a little pressure onto that foot on the foam roller. And then we're going to move to the floor and start with our calves. So again, we're just kind of going on our own pace. Feel free to put music on. So you just kind of hear me and just have something nice and calming on the background is always really fun. Perfecto. All right, so we're going to move down to our calves. The other reason I like to go from the bottom of my body up is because the neck one is like my favorite one, and you're probably going to want to just fall asleep on it when we do it. So rather than start there and get really sleepy, I'd like to kind of have us stay engaged and then go from there. Okay, so I'm going to have the foam roller basically right at my Achilles. Okay, so right at the bottom there. I'm going to get my other leg on top. And I'm going to hold here. Now again, notice I'm not scrunching into my shoulders. I'm staying up nice and tall. My abs are still going to be engaged. So that's where I said we're going to still have work here. Now, if this is enough, what you're going to do is you're going to go side to side. If you find a hot spot means it hurts. Good. Sit on it and hold. Okay, so foam rolling, you don't necessarily want to be rolling the whole time, right? You actually want to sit and hold so that the fascia that's basically wrapped around our entire body is allowed to break down. Okay, so again, if you flex your foot, if you let it relax, you'll sometimes feel a little different tensions there. If you need more, you can also lift the hips up. So again, I told you we might have some work here, and if you need a little bit more, maybe you have to be up on your arms. Okay, so there will be some holding positions. Now I want you guys to take about mid-calf. Now again, if you have a really, really tight Achilles, maybe you're staying there. But again, I'm gonna kind of move through, spending at least a good enough time on each position. But know if you have a spot, like my calves are on fire because I ran 2 days ago and I don't normally run that much. Just know that these, you can take your time and stay where you need to stay. So again, we're just finding those hot spots. So I'm rolling my legs side to side. You can see that I'm rolling my hips towards you and rolling my hips away. And really take your time to get almost a little bit more to the sides, because our calf muscles, they're not just behind, they also somewhat wrap in front too. So we want to make sure that we get all of those areas. Now I'm going to do one more spot. So right on top, not underneath my knee. So I'm still not underneath my knee. I'm just at the meatiest part of my calf, so the upper area here. And again, I'm using that other leg as a little extra weight to put on the calf muscle that I'm rolling. And again, of course, you can up the ante there by getting a little bit more weight on that leg by lifting up your hips. Up here, when we're up high, you might even feel a nice little stretch into your hamstrings when you lift up. That's okay, that's normal. Don't feel that you're hurting yourself. If you have a sharp pain, just ease off, sit your body back down. Okay? All right, so we've done one, and let's go to the other side. So again, we're starting all the way down at the base of that Achilles, and find that spot, like sometimes really close to the ankle. I like to go almost like you can see I'm kind of at the top of that Achilles tendon rather than towards the bottom of the ankle. That's usually where I start to first feel my sensitivity, soreness, tightness, whatever it will be. And again, everyone's different, especially in calves. Females tend to have more because if we wear heels, right? But men can also with dress shoes. Other things with your feet. Do you have a really, really high arch? Are you completely flat-footed like me? That can change where you're sore in your calf. So some people might have more sensitivity. We're going to move to the mid-calf now. Have more sensitivity in their lower calf region. Some might have more in their higher. Some might have more sensitivity towards the inside of their calves. Others might have more towards the outside of their calves. It all depends on how your foot is being placed on the ground, what types of shoes you're wearing, how active you are. I told you mine are really barking at me. I literally was going to go for a run yesterday, and nope, turned out to just be a walk. So I still did my full 2-lap loop, but it was walking, not running, and catching up with family, so that was nice. All right, and then we're going to come all the way to the top of that calf. So what I'll do too is I'm going to move up the back of our legs, and then I'm going to flip over and do our quads, and then we're going to get into our back, arms, and neck. Okay. So again, I'm not going to do everything that you can do with a foam roller. I'm going to just kind of hit the big major pain points of most people, and then keep moving, right? And we'll do a couple little stretches at the end just to feel nice and good, because it feels really nice to stretch at the end of foam rolling. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is just give myself a little bit of a stretch. So I'm going to get my foam roller underneath my knees. I'm going to reach my toes up and flex towards me, and I'm going to reach over, getting a nice little hamstring stretch. But notice I'm not trying to round here. I'm really trying to engage with pulling my chest forward. So maybe I can't reach my toes. Maybe I'm just at my calves, and I'm pressing the back of my knees down into the foam roller. So I'm getting a really nice stretch, calves and my hamstrings, which we're going to foam roll next. So I'm just holding here, shoulder blades back and down, keeping my chest open. And let's just hold here for another 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Nice, guys. All right, so now this is where our arms are going to come in, okay? So I am going to lift myself. So I'm going to get that foam roller out from underneath my back of my knees and get that a little bit more towards underneath my hamstrings. From here, I'm going to lift and I'm going to roll. Isn't this just a delight? Now, again, if this is too much, getting all of that pressure underneath, you can scoot this and do one leg at a time so you have the support of your other leg. So I'll show you from this angle as well. So if I need to do one leg at a time, I can bend this leg, and this leg is foam rolling back and forth. That gives you a little bit more support, especially if you have any shoulder injuries or rotator cuff issues. Sometimes just having that position is too much, or even weak wrists, right? I hear a lot about weak wrists. You can kind of find what works best for you. I like to just go both. And then what I like to do is I like to tilt my toes out and in. And if I find a hot spot, I'm gonna sit on it. Mine is usually kind of right in that midpoint and my toes pointing in like I'm pigeon-toed, right? That is that area, it's almost that inner thigh, right? Maybe my abductor and adductor. Really can get a little bit sore for me. So find where your spots are, and then again, we're just holding. Also, one of the things I love to do is almost kind of like that little, if massage therapists kind of give you that little karate chop on you. I like to kind of do that with just almost doing little swimming legs on the foam roller in that hamstring position. So feels really nice, kind of massages them out. Perfect. Okay, again, you can stay there longer if you need to. Now we're gonna get into our glutes. So yep, we're sitting on this baby. Okay, so we're gonna be seated here. Again, chest up nice and tall. We're gonna lean to one side. So I'm gonna extend this leg and I'm gonna use this leg almost to support me in rolling. And I can come up, get right into that hamstring where the glute and hamstring meet. I can come down and get into that side glute. This is usually where I feel mine, especially from all the kettlebell swings that I've been doing. So again, once you find the spot, hold there, whatever you need to do. If you need more weight, right, so you're not really feeling it, again, you can take off this support and kind of add it to your leg, sometimes even coming across and still having that support, or literally laying that leg on top of that leg. So you get a little bit more weight in there. And we're just rolling. Find that hot spot. Luckily, I'm not barbell squatting or deadlifting that much right now, so this actually surprisingly feels great. Normally, it is a nightmare. My quads are still gonna be terrible, so if I start to cry or make any weird noises, just know it's okay. I'm okay, I'm just foam rolling. All right, let's go to the other side. So again, I'm gonna start with my leg nice and supported. I like to kind of grab my knee so I can kind of feel where I need this, maybe even get into, see how I'm kind of extending that leg, getting into right underneath where the hamstring and the glute meet. That can be a really sore spot. Mine is really firing up right now. So again, I'm gonna sit here and just breathe. So I'm obviously talking through this whole thing, but if I was really doing it, I would wanna just be breathing. So breathing in, exhale, and allowing myself to really relax into the foam roller. Just delightful, right? Perfect. And then I'm gonna go all the way up, maybe add a little bit more, but crossing my legs. And again, I'm trying to not kind of rest into any awkward positions here. I'm still trying to keep good posture with keeping my shoulders away from my ears, keeping my core engaged, because why not get abs while foam rolling? I mean, it just makes sense, guys. If we can do it all at once and we can do them all at the same time, yes, we'll get all those benefits, right? This is me just convincing myself to do it the right way. Perfect. All right. Feel nice? Wonderful. If any of you started to cry, A-okay, guys. Remember, it's okay. All right. So we're gonna come down into a hip flexor. Okay, so even though we kind of went from down up, I am gonna do hip flexor first and then quad before we get to our backs, okay? So hip flexor, right in that crease of that hip. Okay, so I'm gonna get that here, okay? Now, one thing you can do is you can, again, move that foam roller so you can have a little bit more support from the other leg. And you can even sometimes use that edge to get more into the groin, okay? So if I can be a little acrobatic here, somewhat inappropriate, it's okay. But this is where the foam roller is, okay? So you can see right where it is, and then I'm gonna put that leg back down. And again, I'm going to get into almost kind of a plank position. Now again, if I want more, I can kind of lift that leg and get it on top of the other, get a little bit more. I don't need it. I pulled both of my hip flexors in college. So this is usually a sore spot for me. So just the pressure of my leg is enough. Again, I'm keeping that core in nice and tight. Shoulder blades are back and down, away from my ears. Really nice. And again, notice I'm not moving too much. I'm kind of rolling up and down, maybe a little bit side to side, maybe a little bit into that IT band. I'm not going to do the IT band today. That is real rough. I'll show you how to do it on the wall though, after we kind of finish some stretches. Perfecto. Now I'm going to stay on the same leg, okay? And I'm going to get into our quad. So I'm going to just kind of walk myself out. And again, I'm using my toes and getting and finding those spots. Now, the more pressure, so that's a little bit less, this is going to be more. So the more I'm in that forearm plank, the more pressure I'm going to get into that quad. And again, take your time. Move this around where you need it. If you need more support here, if you want more pressure, if you want to kind of get into that inner thigh a little bit more, maybe angle yourself so you can get a little bit more into the foam roller that way. I'm going to just hold here for a couple minutes. So again, feel free to kind of explore where your hot spots are. Mine are usually either near my groin and hip flexor because my hip flexors have been such an issue, or when you get down towards the knee. That can be real aggressive. Okay, so maybe I'm over here slightly in a side balance and putting pressure onto that outer quad muscle. Maybe I come and get a little lower towards my knee. That is a nightmare. Whew. Found a hot spot, so I'm gonna just sit and breathe here. Especially having that double leg, it can get a lot. Catching that breath, holding it. Perfect. All right, guys, I'm gonna go to the other side. If that really, really hurts, take your time, maybe even pause me and hold it there. But again, I'm gonna go to my hip flexor. So I'm right in that crease of where my hip bone and my leg meet. Okay, so I'm right in that crease. I might tilt my heel of my foot out and in to get a little bit of a different angle if I need it. And again, I'm just coaxing my body through this with my breath. So finding that position, using what I need here. And again, I do have to thank you guys because I desperately needed this. And I hope you have a foam roller or something, or you could just be stretching. Like you could be stretching your quads now. You could kind of be massaging them out as you're laying down. Like use this video as inspiration, just the time allotted to stretch and give a little bit of restore back to our bodies. But we do have live yoga classes, so I hope you guys are also checking those out. I'm going to move down to my quad. I sometimes like to have kind of the support of my other leg on the foam roller. So sometimes I'm like this. I get a nice little stretch in my other groin muscle while I'm doing the quad on the other leg. So this can also be a position. Don't run into your couch. If you need to situate yourself a little differently, go for it. Again, I can tilt my heel out and in. Find those different angles. You can kind of go towards the side. Here. Get close to that IT band. And then remember, we can get closer to the knee. I would have probably just rolled, but if I rolled, I would have been in my couch. So just situate yourself how you need. Now, again, we don't want to go right on top of the knee, but you can get pretty close and it gets pretty terrible. The reason why it's really sensitive towards knee is where all the muscles are meeting, right? So it's like you're hitting a lot in just that one position, where when you're a little bit into the meatier part of your calf, you might only be hitting one muscle. So it's a lot. All right, take another deep breath here, wherever that hot spot is. Then we're going to move on to our backs. Ooh, delightful. All right. So, backs, guys. I'm going to make sure that I have enough room behind me. I'm going to do the ones that are the least injury prone, right? So there are ways that you can get a little bit more into your low back, but they are a little bit more advanced, and I don't want to encourage anyone to do something they're not comfortable with. So we're going to stay kind of in the upper back region, which are usually really great. Okay, so I have this foam roller right underneath my shoulder blades. Also for females, it's usually just underneath the bra line. And guys, again, just find those shoulder blades. You're basically at your lats. Okay, so right here you have space where it's not in your armpit. Okay. So from here, I'm going to support my head the whole time. And all I want you guys to do at first, plant those feet into the ground, bring your core in nice and tight. And again, we're just going to stretch back. Now, only go as far back as you feel comfortable. Okay, so some people don't like to have their head almost upside down. So maybe you're just here. You're still going to get that pressure. I'm going to come back a little lower. And then I'm going to come up. So yeah, we're going to get a little bit of abs in here. I'm coming down low and coming up. Nice into a nice little crunch. Here and up. Now I'm going to keep my arms nice and wide. I'm going to tilt to the side. I'm actually going to do it towards you first. So you can see I'm reaching my elbow to the corner of my foam roller. I'm bringing it back center and I'm going to the other side. We're going to just do a couple rounds of this. Again, if you have a spot that's really sensitive, maybe you have to sit on it for a little bit. But usually this area is pretty sensitive all over for a lot of people. So we hold a lot of tension in our neck and shoulders. So again, just take your time. Let's do one more on each side. Now you have two options. The next one, the modification, is you're just going to come, roll, and then put that booty back down. And then again, you're just going to hold till you're open up that chest, and now you're on top of your shoulder blades, basically. Okay, you can kind of go side to side, the same thing, again, fully supporting your head. If you want a little bit more pressure, you're going to kind of come up into a slight bridge. Okay, move your feet back out if you need to. And you're just going to come up and give yourself the ability to roll on top of those shoulder blades. Make sure you don't get into your neck, okay? We will do our neck separately. I want to make sure that you're not in your neck. You can even bring it down to that first position, maybe even getting into a little push, okay? Again, I'm really, really strong in my core right now. My glutes are fired up, just to make sure that we're nice and safe and we're not lacking, like in the sense of any core positioning. So that's going to put us into a weird compromised position where we could get injured. Okay, so we want to stay nice and engaged. All right, find one spot to hold, and we're going to just kind of breathe here. Wherever that tightness was, whether it's a little higher, whether it's a little lower, I like to kind of get a little bit into that back of the deltoid, which is the back of the shoulder. So like right at that almost armpit region. I'm going to come down, and then what we're going to do is we're going to kind of get it to the point where it's basically almost at chest level. Okay, so we have room from underneath that armpit, and we can take it and get it right at the base of basically where my armpit is, but I'm on the side. So I'm not in my armpit, I'm on the side of my lat. This is an area that a lot of us don't foam roll, and we really should. It is, so I like to have my hand here so my head's supported. You can kind of also do a little thing like that if you want to feel what it feels like with that arm fully extended, but we don't want to have any tension in our neck. So whether it's just kind of a nice little hold here, or you're glamour shotting, you know. Yes, so fun, right? And again, I'm just really holding here because there's a lot of tension. Sometimes you have to lean back a little bit. Maybe yours is a little higher up. Maybe yours is a little lower, depending on your lat muscle. So just kind of find that position. Then we're going to do the other side. Okay, so deep breath here. Perfecto. Okay, I'm going to go to the other side, but I'm going to just flip around so I'm not speaking to the back so you can hear me. So again, I'm going to be on my side. I'm going to get right on to the side of my armpit and hold. I personally think this is one of the best ones because look at this. Look at it. You can do this. We can hang out here, right? Again, my core is still tight. My legs are in a perfect alignment, but this is comfortable for my hips. If you have a really bony side hip, what I always like to do is kind of like push myself slightly at an angle. So I'm slightly diagonal here, just so I'm resting on my glutes rather than a hip bone. So if you have that issue, just situate yourself. Again, just a couple deep breaths. Again, you might be a little higher, a little lower. This is like the perfect position for me right now. I really start to feel my neck and shoulder release when I foam roll here. It's just like all that tension kind of goes down that back. Really nice, guys. Perfecto. All right, we're gonna do something with our arms with the foam roller, but with actually using it. So I want to go into the neck stretch, which again, you might just go here and just not do the rest of the video with me because this is so incredible. So again, I'm literally going to get it underneath my neck like it's a pillow. And I like to personally keep my feet here. I don't really like coming here because then I feel like my chin drops and I get into a weird position in my neck. If you can keep this kind of open position with your chin reaching towards the ceiling with your legs straight, go for it. I like to come up so that I'm in almost kind of a prepped for a bridge, a glute bridge, but I'm engaging here, slightly tucking my pelvis up. So my whole low back is on it, is on the mat, is on the floor. And then I like to kind of just hang and breathe. So especially deep breaths in and out here. And what I don't want you guys to do, I don't want you to roll here. I want you to just hold, but you can look towards one shoulder, nice and slow, and then look towards the other shoulder. And just take your time going side to side like that. Really, really easy. And again, please do this multiple times a week. Now that I film this, maybe I'll just listen to myself, though that's usually really weird. I've never done one of my videos listening to myself because I think that would be strange. But I am going to foam roll more. I have to. We all have to. All right, we're going to hold here for just another quick second. And I'm going to show you how you should get up from this position. This is very, very specific, just to make sure that you keep all of what you just did for your body, which is opening it up in such a lovely way. Perfect. So what we're going to do, butt towards here. So I'm going to basically roll to a fetal position really slowly. Then I have this arm here. I can press, get onto here, here, and up. Oh, isn't that just amazing, guys? Okay, so then I'm going to come up to standing. Hopefully you have already feel so much more open, okay? And I just want to do a couple stretches with the foam, using the foam roller, okay? So we're going to come up and tilt to the side. My knees are nice and soft, so I'm not locked out. Soft, soft knees. Bring it up. Again, out to the side. Reaching that position. Beautiful. We're going to come here and literally just come all the way up. Bring that chest open and down. Up, open, and down. Again, you will feel so much tension taken out of your shoulders after you do that little neck. And again, we're not trying to tense it back up. I'm just trying to open that chest a little bit more. We're going to do one more here. And you should just feel a lot more relaxed in that region of your body. Beautiful. Then we're going to take this down in front of us. You're going to drop it down so you're in one knee. Bring that leg forward so it's in front, basically in the same position as that foam roller, and almost lean into it. So if you can see me like this, I'm here. My back foot is down. So on this side, if you need that full here, I'm leaning in. Okay, this is just really nice so that we're not putting anything that we just foam rolled into any precarious position that we're going to tighten back up. I just want to feel that lengthening, getting into a little bit more of that groin and hip flexor. Okay, we're going to switch it over to the other side. Just a couple quick stretches here just to feel the lengthening that we created, right? So just again, giving that reasoning why we should foam roll, you should feel a lot more open. You should feel a lot less pain in your muscles, getting that lactic acid to move around. But the biggest thing I usually feel is the space between my shoulders and my ears, like anything around my neck. Just doing that last one we did with the foam roller as like almost our pillow, it's incredible for you. Perfecto. And then one of my favorites is doing child's pose with the foam roller. So child's pose, you can either have your feet together and butt back, or toes together, knees apart, and butt back. Do whatever feels better for you. Some people like to have more of the V position. You'll get a little bit more low back if your legs are together, just because you'll be a little bit more rounded. This is really great for your groin. So pick whatever position feels better for you. Then we're going to take this and press our bodies down. So what the foam roller is allowing us to do is going a little deeper in our chest. And with the wide arms on the foam roller, this is really great. Now, if you have a short one, that's okay. Just take your time here. So I want us to do 3 deep breaths. And then press your hands into the foam roller. Walk it back to you. Take a quick stand up if you need the foam roller to help. Again, and let's do 2 deep breaths together, and we're going to be done. really nice. Thanks, guys, for doing that with me today. We're gonna breathe in. We're gonna exhale, squeeze our shoulder blades together. We're gonna reach the thumbs back behind us. We're gonna tuck our pelvis in, and then we're gonna release and try and keep our shoulders where they are. Okay, so I'm gonna show you from the side, so we see that we're getting into proper posture. With our chest sticking out, our core in nice and tight, and our shoulders back and down. So we're gonna breathe in. We're gonna exhale, squeeze those shoulder blades together, so I'm almost exaggerating my chest out. Bring my thumbs back behind me, so that's bringing my shoulder blades back and down. I tuck my pelvis in to realign that lower spine, and then I release and keep the shoulders where they are. And you guys are done. Thank you so much for foam rolling and stretching with me, and I will see you next week.